Free speech isn't absolute in the US, but the exceptions are narrow, and hate speech isn't one of them. General expressions of hate on the internet are despicable, they say, but they aren't cause for prosecution. Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, does Pam Bondi need a free speech tutorial? I'm not an expert on these things, but the Wall Street Journal has an opinion piece here from the editorial board saying Pam Bondi needs a free speech tutorial. The Attorney General seems to think hate speech is illegal. Charlie Kirk knew better. So, developing free speech debate and what's going on in the US at the moment, this is fresh. Is a basic understanding of the First Amendment too much to expect from the nation's Attorney General? You'd think not. Progressives have spent years trying to create and define a category called hate speech. This misunderstanding of the First Amendment seems to have infiltrated the DC water supply because AG Pam Bondi repeated it Monday in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So this is the Wall Street Journal. Remember, this is not some left-leaning rag we're talking about. It's the Wall Street Journal, which is decidedly right-wing, you'd have to say. Discussing Kirk's work on college campuses, Ms. Bondi mentioned the disgusting anti-Semitism on display at many universities, and so far so good. But wait, there's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society. The country's top law enforcer told a podcast, "We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech," she said. Charlie Kirk would want a word, they say. My position is that even hate speech should be completely and totally allowed in our country. The most disgusting speech should absolutely be protected, he once told a crowd. I just did a video about some of the things that Charlie Kirk said, his most extreme, most controversial positions. If you want to go and see that, not many people have seen it. I don't think the algorithm like me is making that video. The ACLU used to hold this viewpoint. The American Civil Liberties Union, they sued so that legitimate Nazis could march through downtown Skokie. Why, he said, as soon as you use the word hate, that is a very subjective term, Kirk said in a video posted by his group in 2020. Then all of a sudden it is in the eyes or it is in the implementation of whomever has the power. Now, they say he was right, as governments around the world are proving almost daily. Armed British police recently arrested Graham Linehan, a TV sitcom writer, and reportedly questioned him about his posts on the internet, including one that read, "If a trans-identified man is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls." He says it was a joke and it's stupid, but criminal, they question. Now, Mark Rowley, London's police commissioner, said there was reasonable grounds to believe an offence has been committed, since British law dictates that a threat to punch someone from a protected group could be an offence. So we're talking about the UK here, not the US, and the laws are different. Yet he went on to criticise the government for giving police no choice but to record such incidents as crimes when they're reported, adding, "I don't believe we should be policing toxic culture wars debates, and officers are currently in an impossible position." Now, I think this is an important debate, obviously, about free speech and what's going on and what's happening in the UK is relevant. I did one video about Elon Musk really inciting violence, or I think that he was basically inciting violence in the UK. He said before that civil war is inevitable there, so speech is really relevant, on both sides of the pond in this instance, and the laws are different. So they go on. In an appearance this year at the Oxford Union, Kirk told British listeners, so that's a really quite a famous debating chamber there or event, free speech is a birthright that you gave us, and you guys decided not to codify it. And now it's proof. It's basically gone. In other words, thank goodness for the First Amendment. So he's talking about how the laws on free speech is much better in the US than in the UK. Free speech isn't absolute in the US, but the exceptions are narrow, and hate speech isn't one of them. The Supreme Court held a famous 1969 case, Brandenburg versus Ohio, that the government could punish speech as incitement only if it's directed toward and likely to produce imminent lawless action. General expressions of hate on the internet are despicable, they say, but they aren't cause for prosecution. Something to keep in mind about what is happening in the US, in the media, and what the government is saying, what Trump's administration is saying, what Pam Bondi is saying right now. They're really trying to lead a crusade against the left, against some speech or some actions by some people. Now, they say Miss Bondi tried Tuesday morning to clean up her mess, writing on social media, hate speech that crosses the line into threats of violence is not protected by the First Amendment. But then she incoherently mixed in everything from violent rhetoric to doxing to calling a SWAT team to the home of a member of Congress. The AG also didn't recant her statement on Monday that the Justice Department might prosecute Office Depot or its ex-employee who refused to print a Kirk vigil poster. And remember back when people were vandalizing Teslas, the things that they said there, what Trump said, what she said, that they're coming after people, really calling it terrorism. And it really was vandalism. So at times like this, when emotions are high, even the AG of the US can say things like this that really don't seem to be right. And the Wall Street Journal pointing it out here, calling her out for it. Bondi hasn't had a distinguished tenure as AG, as she too often seems to follow the latest social media, cable TV mood swing. That's what happened back when the Teslas were being vandalized and Elon Musk went on Fox News. She went on Fox News, so their favorite cable TV program, and she seems to go along with that rather than actually looking at the law in some instances, perhaps like this. But she is a law enforcer, not a social media anger management coach. And she's sworn to uphold the Constitution, they say. Now, they finish with maybe Miss Bondi should quit appearing on podcasts about Charlie Kirk until she listens to some Charlie Kirk podcasts, really going against what he even said. There's also this, by the way, we'll have a look at this in the Verge related. The right wing is creating a society of snitches. The vice president of the US has blessed hunting people down for Charlie Kirk wrongthink. So I won't go into that, but really, this is what it's about. We've got various people at the upper level of the administration using the emotion, the intense emotion to go after people that they don't like. Is this what's happening? The political opposition or people on the opposition party or people who think that differently from them, are they going after them when this is really going against the Constitution? Do you think that's what's happening here? I think there's a danger of that the backlash here could be so severe that they're opportunistically taking more overreach, and Pam Bondi seems to be part of that. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think that that's a valid thing to say? Do you think she's overstepping? Do you think there are a lot of people here, including JD Vance and Trump, really using this opportunity in a way that they shouldn't? Let me know what you think about this. And right now, I'm going to put a related video below me here and also a subscribe link on the screen. Do subscribe if you want to get more of these kinds of videos from me in the very near future. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.